This is a Radio Dog podcast production. Welcome to the Rick Dollar Show podcast. Here's a guy who thought those voices in his head sounded familiar. Your host, Rick Dollar.
Hey guys, I got a chance to sit down with my good friend Kristin Scott Benson. We talked about banjos, and more banjos. And this is how that went. Rick Dollar here for the Rick Dollar Show. That's Kristin Scott Benson with her dog. And what's your dog's name?
This is Fisher, and the show only goes downhill from here. He's the highlight of it. And he came to see me, so I had to pick him up. But this is the cutest portion of the show right here.
Exactly. We got nothing on this dog, man. This is just the cutest animal I've ever seen. And
yeah, he's a good boy.
Yeah, hold on. Snowflake, I was just kidding.
Oh. Yeah, no hurt her feelings, or his feelings, yeah.
I don't think you're going to hurt her feelings. I mean,
what is she?
She's a Shih Tzu. We've had her for like 13 years. She's almost 14 years old. So
I love those dogs. Yeah.
Oh,
I love all the dogs.
Man, me too. We have such a problem with that, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
But how you been doing?
Doing great. I'm just so glad to see you and talk to you. And,
I know
you know this, but just in case the listeners don't, you're a heavy hitter for us, man. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you, and you do such a great job spreading the word for all of us artists and what we're trying to accomplish out here. So it's always a pleasure to speak to you.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate that a whole bunch. We do want to announce that we have started the Radio Dog Podcast Network. So we've signed Tim Batts and Josh Williams.
Yes.
Those guys are on the network now, and we also have Jet Poindexter, Adam Poindexter's daughter. We interviewed her, and she was just great. And I was like, man, you should have a podcast. And it's called the Bluegrass Blonde Podcast. So check it out. She's
I like it.
pretty good at what she does, man. Let me tell you.
That's great.
All right. Now that we got that out of the way, how have you guys been doing, man?
We're doing well. We are chugging right along, and professionally and personally and all that good stuff. And we're thriving and so grateful and so blessed. Our son, my and Wayne's son, just finished his freshman year of college, although he marks time by fishing tournaments. You probably know about this being in Georgia, but there are like 600 universities that have fishing teams now, and he has a bass fishing scholarship.
I had no idea.
So, you don't know about this?
No, just because I live in Georgia, normally there is a lot of fishing going on down here. Let me tell you. I mean,
yeah, like one of the best schools is Emmanuel, which is in Georgia, but I'm not sure. I think it's more North Georgia maybe, but it's a really strong bass fishing school. But anyway, Wayne and I aren't fishermen. We didn't know anything about it, but our son fell in love with it many years ago. And, we say we don't know anything about what he does, but we recognize the passion. And he loves this the same way, we love to play music. So anyway, he has a tournament next week in Alabama at Pickwick. And then he has a tournament the following week in Virginia on the James River. So in his mind, the semester ends when those two tournaments have concluded. So he marks time by tournaments, not by classes. But anyway, it's been a huge change, and we love just hopefully seeing him a little more. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, everything's going great, man.
Man, I'm telling you that you can't fault the guy for wanting to fish. I mean, that's just like, growing up, that was what we did. And, having my grandson around quite a bit, man, me and Logan were 5 o'clock in the morning on the weekend.
Yes.
We were somewhere throwing a line in the water. I mean, it was just a great thing,
It's a special thing, and you know how it is. Whatever your kid gets into, you learn about it. We just didn't know about it, but it's exactly like bluegrass, and that there's a whole world, there's a whole community there, and there's more to it than you would ever dream. And once you become exposed to it, it's like this brand new world that opens up, and that's what fishing was like for us. He asked me when he was about 9. He found a meet and greet in a tournament, and I took him to it having no idea. And I remember texting Wayne and saying, this is just like bluegrass. These guys are rolling in with wrap trucks and wrap boats,
I mean, yeah,
and they've been driving all night, and they're jumping out, and they're setting up their sponsors' samples for people under a pop-up tent, just like our merch
yeah,
tents. And I was like, gosh, it's a lot alike.
yeah, it is. I mean, it's there's so many things that just click when you go fishing. I mean,
Mhm.
I've solved a lot of problems sitting
There's a lot of solitude at 5 in the
there
morning. Yeah.
going, oh my God, why didn't I think about it that way?
Yeah. Very cool.
Man,
Very cool.
well, um, one great song that you guys have had over the past years, Lover of the Road.
Hmm.
And you had Woody Platt on that with you. And I think that was like right after he decided to do his own thing. And I ran into him at Victory North down here in Savannah. I can't remember who was playing that night, but I came around the corner and I almost ran straight into Woody Platt. I mean, and if you've been
He's a
around,
big guy.
yeah, he
Race.
would. And I was like, holy crap. Sorry, dude. and but if you're gonna meet Woody Platt, what's a better way to meet him, by almost knocking him down on the floor. But anyway.
Yeah, listen, I can't say enough good things about Woody. When it comes to Lover of the Road, for Benson, that was maybe our first number one that wasn't gospel, maybe. But the two people I think of are Grant Williams, the writer, and Woody Platt, the lead vocalist. That's who we owe that song to. And Woody is a force of nature. I'm sure if you've been around him even a couple of minutes, you just sense his charisma.
Yeah.
And he thinks big, and he is actually in charge of the Blue Ridge Banjo Camp,
Oh.
presented by Bela Fleck. So Woody, it's kind of his baby to run all of those camps. The guitar camp with Brian Sutton, the fiddle camp with Casey Dreesen. So Woody has a ton of stuff going on, and he's just he thinks big, he thinks fast, and he's fun.
Yeah.
He's as fun as it gets, and he's just one of those guys that, like, he'll come to you and he'll say, "Look, I've got this idea," and you just zone in on him, and you go, "Okay." You just believe in him and want
And
to
I think it's
follow him. So I can't say enough good things about Woody.
Hey, if you love real music played by real musicians, it's time you experience a night at Randy Wood's Old Time Pickin' Parlor in Bloomingdale, Georgia. This legendary listening room is where world-class pickers, bluegrass greats, Americana artists, singer-songwriters, and roots musicians take the stage to play the music the way it was meant to be heard, up close, personal, and full of soul. No big arena distractions here, just great sound, great people, and unforgettable live performances in one of the most respected acoustic venues anywhere. Whether it's blazing banjo, sweet harmonies, or a hot fiddle tune that gets your heart going, you'll find it on stage at Randy Wood's. Make plans now to catch an upcoming show. Bring some friends and be part of the music tradition that keeps on living. Randy Wood's Old Time Pickin' Parlor, Bloomingdale, Georgia, where the music never gets old. Check upcoming performances and ticket info online, and we'll see you at the Pickin' Parlor. Well, when I almost ran him over, I came around the corner and he was looking over me,
Oh yeah, he's
past
tall.
me, but he was like totally in another
Oh, okay.
time zone. He was thinking of something else. And I was like, holy crap, he didn't even see me, and
Yeah, he's a
I
busy
had no
guy.
voice, but not, but to see him, I mean, like you're saying, he's like, what is he, like 6'4", 6'5" now, or
Maybe more even. I
maybe
don't know. But yeah, every time I'm around him, which is pretty frequently, I just I'm always like, gosh, he's a big guy. He's
he
just
is.
tall, and but I just love his personality, and I love how fun he is. And the favorite thing that we have in common, man, he loves bluegrass.
He
He
does.
so loves
He's
the
there.
bluegrass album, man, and it's like we click that way. So I don't get to play with him as much as I'd like, but I do get to do some shows with him, and because he has the Woody Platt band,
Yeah.
Bennett Sullivan plays banjo for him, but occasionally I'll get to fill in, and then of course I get to see him at camp. And anytime we can, bring him into something Benson is doing, we always try to. In fact, we have another single coming out in this batch. It could be the next release, maybe the one after that. But he and his wife, his wife Shannon Wentworth is great. Are you familiar with her work?
I've heard a little bit of what she does, but not as much as, of course, you guys. But.
Well, she was extremely successful, and I can't remember the name of the band that she was in. It was kind of a bluegrass adjacent band, but they were doing extremely well. She's a great writer, great singer. So we had Woody and Shannon sing a single for us that's going to come out at some point. So we do try to work with them as much as possible because they're so fun and they do a great job.
Now, this Blue Ridge Banjo Camp that Bela's doing, you guys are all over that. I mean, I think,
Well, so yeah, so I've been lucky to teach it every year. Tony Trishka has also taught it every year. We usually
yeah,
there are two other teachers. Adam Larrabee has been there. Greg has been there for several years now. And the coolest thing about it, it's unlike any other banjo camp. I mean, I teach a lot of camps, and Wayne and I are kind of like half and half. The teaching and performing is we're kind of split down the middle in those worlds, and there's nothing like that Blue Ridge Banjo Camp. And the main reason, obviously, is because it's Bela's. So anything he's associated with, it's a top down, trickle down, effect when you have a genius like him at the helm. But we do a banjo orchestra at the end of the big concert that's open to the public. We'll have 2 or 3 thousand people in Brevard. And last year we always have a theme. Last year was Bach, so it's 120 banjos playing Bach. The year prior was Rhapsody in Blue, and I think this year we're doing the Beatles. So it really is hard to imagine. I wish I had a clip that I could share. I could share it with you after that. It's just it's an amazing sound to hear 100 banjos playing arranged music and reading with one another, and it's a unique experience that you cannot get anywhere else. So I just pinch myself the whole time I'm there, try to keep my head down so they don't figure out there's an imposter, in the ranks. But it's so much fun.
yeah, imposter syndrome will kill you every time. Yeah, every time I get
It'll
around,
get you there for sure.
yeah, I get around radio guys sometimes, and I'm like, whoa, I grew up listening to that guy, and you're thinking,
Yeah.
wow, I hope they don't know I'm a fake. you know, I
Yeah, I
remember
think we always feel that way, if you've got any
know it
humility at
all.
all.
Yeah, you're like, oof, yeah. Hey, I
Mhm.
remember hearing Bela Fleck and the Flecktones, man,
Oh yeah, me
for-
too.
forever ago. Well, now you're really telling your age, so you probably should take
I know.
it
Well, they still tour occasionally. They still tour. So they're still around. I'm not sure how recently they've recorded. But yeah, when I started playing the banjo, the first exposure I had to Bela was actually a VH1 special on the Flecktones.
back. Yeah.
So I missed Newgrass Revival, which
Oh my God.
breaks my heart to this day. But when I started playing, he was already doing that. But of course, that led me to then find Newgrass Revival, which was like a 2 year obsession, deep dive with the banjo. So yeah, it's phenomenal. But the Flecktones, you can imagine I was a 13-year-old girl from South Carolina who had grown up around traditional bluegrass, and on VH1 at my grandparents' house in Charlotte, North Carolina, I just flipped around and saw this. And can you imagine what that felt like, though, to have heard everything I'd heard up until that point, and then to hear that, and having had no prior idea that it was even possible that anyone would
Just
ever
sitting here
dream that.
thinking,
I mean,
okay, everything I've heard, just forget it. I
the
like this.
the world shifted on its axis. My worldview is shattered. Is the sky even blue? Who knows?
I,
It really did make that big of an impact on me, and my heart is still traditional bluegrass. That's where I live and breathe, and what I still return to. But gosh, guys like Bela certainly informed uh, what I was doing growing up, and they've created this entire banjo world that's so much bigger than bluegrass. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things, that you're reminded of at that banjo camp.
Yeah.
Bluegrass is not banjos is not just for bluegrass anymore. There are so many amazing people there that do really interesting, compelling things with the banjo that may not be related to bluegrass at all. And I just love that. It's
Oh
the
yeah.
reason that camp is special.
I thought was really cool when I was a kid, man, just sitting in the back seat of the car. And my dad would always flip it over to the classic rock station, local classic rock station in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Where down home is and everything in
Yeah.
ETSU. But, you would always hear they had the concert announcements for the next, you know, 8 to 10 days. And you would always hear, and I guess I just remembered it because of how different his name was. Bella
Yeah.
Fleck and the Flecktones live at such and such place, and you're thinking, "Wow, I bet that's a cool thing." And then when I got really big and deep into bluegrass, and I was like, "So that was that guy, yeah."
Mhm.
There was
Yeah.
that genius that
Oh
was
yeah. Well, see,
around with
yeah.
banjo
I,
and sucking people in.
That's totally it. And that leads you to Drive,
Oh
which is
yeah.
probably his most bluegrass banjo album. And that's a desert island album for me, would be to have Drive at
Mm.
my disposal. And so that's how you get there, though. Whatever anyone's doing at the time, it will lead you back to whatever they started with. And that, that applies to Billy Strings. People find Billy Strings and they may find Larry Sparks
Oh
as a result of that. And who can't be happy about that?
yeah, absolutely.
So many of those guys that get really successful and they do special things, it's a service to us all because it does redirect if they have a heart for it. And oftentimes they do when they come from bluegrass. They'll send people back to what inspired them, and that's a good thing.
Down in Hopeless Holler, they're putting on a show. Gonna be a big time and everybody go. Picking and a singing all your favorite songs. Down in Hopeless Holler, won't you come along? Down in Hopeless Holler, won't you come along? Hopeless Holler. Hopeless Holler Trading Company, where one style fits all.
Yeah. Speaking of Billy Strings, Jared Walker just put out a great album.
I'm
Night.
sure
I don't know if you've heard that or you need to
I
listen to
haven't,
it.
but I'm sure it's great.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I mean, you always think of Billy Strings and you're thinking, okay, I know what he's going to sound like. But then when his guys start breaking off and doing their own things, and Royal Massat actually produced this record for Jared, and you can hear a little bit of Billy, but man, it's all Jared. I mean,
Yeah, he's a brilliant player.
oh,
He's a talented fella, and I'm glad he ended up in that job. And somebody so great got the job. But Jared is a super talented guy, and I haven't heard it, but I don't doubt it that it's absolutely great.
yeah, it's really good. I was just shocked. But what's going on with you guys? That's what we're
With
really here
Vincent?
to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, so Wayne's life looks a little different right now. For those who
Yeah, it is,
don't
isn't
know,
it?
he's played with Russell Moore in Third Time Out for like 30 years. And Russell, we are so excited, is out with Alison Krauss again for 6 months. So
We're gonna
Third Time
see her
Out is
Monday.
on.
We're gonna see her Monday night, actually. Here,
Oh, good.
yeah. So we're really looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get with Russell and just shake
Yeah.
hand. I hadn't seen him in forever. I mean,
Well, we adore the guy, as you might imagine, and you're always happy when extraordinarily good things happen to people that
yeah,
so deserve it, and he does. So the first time we even heard about the possibility, of him doing this. We were just so excited for him. So Wayne is doing other things for the next 6 months. He's about to go to Weiser, Idaho. I asked where it was, and it's in Idaho, and he goes there, I think, next week or the week after. So he's lined up a bunch of teaching things.
That's good.
Yeah, because you know it's coming. So you know the 6 months is coming well in advance. So it gives you time to book other stuff
That's right.
and stay busy. Of course, he teaches, all day, every day, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then, I'm playing with the Grascals all summer and just have a lot of extra things. I'll tell you something that's kind of cool. Are you familiar? Have you talked to Banjo Ben Clark before?
Actually, he is. We with the podcast network, we signed Tim Batts and Josh Williams to be that podcast that they have, the Hometown Bluegrass podcast. So they're actually part of our network, and I always listen to what Tim and those guys do. And Banjo Ben is one of their big sponsors.
Okay, great. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we think the world of Ben. He would be a great guy to interview because he's had a quite a unique experience. He started out, he was in Taylor Swift's band,
Hmm.
and then he just sort of segued eventually into entrepreneurship, truly kind of blazing the path of online learning.
Yeah.
And he's kind of created a little empire for himself.
Yeah.
And Wayne and I, I'm so lucky I have a waiting list for lessons, but we've done several events with Ben. And this summer, I think we're gonna do, I don't know how many, but some video lessons as part of his website that will be available to members. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be going to Texas for that, where he lives now, but we have that on the horizon as well. And we do have one Benson show. Everybody says, do you guys ever play shows? And the answer is largely no. And that's because, oh, we got a close up of you. I do.
What happened there? I'm not. What happened?
I mean, the
Yeah.
center stage followed your coffee cup.
Oh, that's what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, but anyway, we do have one show. It's rare for us to be able to book a show, but because both bands have to be off, so the Grascals and Third Time Out have to be off, and we have to know they're going to be off, and that's hard to arrange. But December 17th in Spartanburg, South Carolina,
Yeah.
at the Chapman Cultural Center for our wonderful friends, Bluegrass Spartanburg.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna do a show there. Woody Platt's gonna play with us, and
There
Buddy
you go.
Melton, and Sean Lane is the band. So that's gonna be fun. We're looking forward to that. But my summer is full. Also, just with the Grascals, we have a new record coming out soon.
Mhm.
We even have a gospel record in the can. So two records in the pipe with the Grascals. And then also Benson, I should mention, you know how weird it is this time. It's just done differently than it used to be. Usually, back in the day,
Oh yeah.
albums came out, and that's when you heard the music. And now it's like the music's released, and then the record comes out,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
talked to Tim Shelton about that the other day, and I was like, "What's the deal?" And then
I still don't get it.
he sort of explained it to me. There's so many different schools of thought on what works best, and people think differently, I guess. Of course, with the onslaught of social media and Spotify and all these large companies that want to put your music out, I guess there's a different school of thought for each one of those companies. So
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't.
I don't understand it. But like our new
Fine.
single, Maybe It's You, is will be on the next record, but the record is going to release. It's called Double Dose by Benson. It's the end of May. It'll be released, and Maybe It's You will be on the next one, not on that one. So we have a single out uh, before the record comes out that it's not even on. It's just a weird timeline these days,
Yeah, and
how things can go. But we do have Double Dose. We already have copies, but it officially releases end of May.
that's crazy, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, it's weird to me because back in my day when I bought a record, that's when you got to hear that music.
Exactly.
And now it's all pretty much all. There's usually one or two they hold back,
Yeah.
but it's been previously released as singles.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine that's a record guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but he tried to sign this guy, and if I tell you this dude's name, you're going to know exactly who he is. But he kept trying to sign this guy, for weeks, and then it went into months.
Yeah.
And then finally, he just said, "Hey, look, what's the deal? Do you just not want to work with us or something?" He's like, "No, I just really don't need you to market my record because I've got 14 million followers on Spotify or someplace like, you know." And and then when
We don't have that many.
no, but when he told me that story, I was
Yeah.
like, "Wow, stuff's changing quick.
It changes
Let's
so
let's
fast.
just take our egos and stick them over here and just suck
Yeah.
it up and try to help that artist do what they got to do."
Yeah, it looks different for record labels. It looks different for artists. With the Grascals for years, our merch sales, not unusually, would outweigh what we got paid to play the festival.
Sure.
And boy, has that just,
Done
kind
a
of diminished to
180.
nothing.
Yeah.
We sell shirts, right? Because you can't stream shirts. I mean, that's what we're down to. And people say, I'd love to buy your CD, but I don't have a way to play it. There's no remedy for that. You can't argue with that or blame anybody for that. But
Oh,
it's made everybody's life look really different.
it has. It has. Believe me.
There's a place tucked away in the mountains where time slows down just enough for you to catch your breath. And that place is Marion, Virginia. Known as America's coolest hometown, Marion blends rich Appalachian heritage with a fresh, vibrant energy that you can feel the moment you arrive. Stroll historic Main Street. Take in a live show at the beautifully restored Lincoln Theater, or explore great outdoors along the scenic Hungry Mother Park, where the views are so unforgettable. Whether you're chasing live music, small town charm, or a weekend escape that feels like home, Marion delivers it all with a handshake and a smile. So pack up, head for the hills, and discover why folks don't just visit Marion. They come back again and again. Plan your trip today and experience Marion, Virginia, where the mountains meet the music.
I mean, things are changing so rapidly in the business, but it's the music, not only the music itself, but like you're saying, just the way that we consume it, the way that we support the bands that we like. I mean, we
Mhm.
have to find some way as just regular people to be regular people with you guys and help
I love that.
everything that we need, in every way that we possibly can.
That's a beautiful way to put that. I really like
I
that.
appreciate that, but it's just, I just feel like I mean, if we're going to help keep these bands on the road and enjoy these great shows, we're
Yeah.
going to have to figure out a way to do it. And
Yeah, it really is true. So, what are some ways that you guys, is like the podcast a means of adaptation for what you do?
yes, originally we had a syndicated bluegrass radio show. We still have that. We had a syndicator come to us and say, "Hey, we'd like to put you out there," blah, blah, blah. So that was great. And that went forward a little further. And we just wanted to be able to get the word out about the radio show and the artists. So the best thing we can do is take the podcast, the original podcast, and push all of the artists, just like what you and I are doing here.
Sure.
I mean, I love you guys. Y'all are great people. I remember the first time I met you guys, but the thing is, we've built relationships with people for so many years. So it's kind of like family,
Sure.
if your brother or cousin or somebody was out on the road every week, you'd want to support them.
Totally.
How can you support them if you can't do it with streams or downloads or whatever? Buy a T-shirt.
And that's totally it. It's more of a just being a patron of the arts,
Mm-hmm.
in a really big picture perspective. But it's so true what you're saying. We always have to adapt. Technology always wins, and the consumer always wins.
Exactly.
And as a consumer, who can say anything is better than for $9.99 a month, I get all the music in the world?
That's what I'm saying.
The consumer always wins, and for the consumer, it's the best. So I just think that we've got to figure out other revenue streams, other way of reaching people. It's always going to be a balancing act. But there is one thing, and I'm sure you've thought about this because you're in the industry and you think about it a lot. But one thing that it does, which is pretty cool, is we're one click away, same as mainstream music.
Exactly.
And that is an opportunity because back in the days of just FM radio, you had your massive FM stations. So you would hear the top 40 country hits like crazy that week. You'd have to find that AM station that had Bluegrass 2 hours a week. You would have to seek that out. And now we do have 24/7 immediate availability to Bluegrass. So for the stream genres, it is an opportunity. The journey then though is how do you reach these people and stand out in a sea of everything? And I certainly don't know the answer. I'm just thankful to teach my lessons, play our shows, record our music, and talk to guys like you and just hope it works out.
Well, I appreciate that, but the good thing about it is that the best thing that I can do as an individual or as a radio person or a podcaster is just keep the good word out there, man. I mean, we always do positive stuff. We never go, negative. And sometimes there's negative stories, but you just got to leave that over there in the corner and do what benefits everybody.
I agree. Yeah, that's common sense. It's just, my philosophy, each time something gets gossipy or something, I even just leave that circle, that conversation. I just hate to be associated with even having heard something that we shouldn't be talking about, So it's certainly in a public way, you for sure just want to focus on the positive. There's plenty of positive out there. We don't need the other.
Yeah, it's not that hard to find. I mean, I guess it all depends on how you wake up in the morning. If you wake up and you're in a good mood, then you can.
I wake up with that little guy back there you see how stressed he is.
Oh my!
He's
dog,
totally stressed out right now.
Dog's got it made, man. Let me tell you, ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Young lady, I appreciate you talking to me today. And things happen down the road, give us a yell. Whatever
I would love
to help you out. Okay.
Well, for sure. Maybe It's You is our new single, Benson. So it debuted number 2.
I saw.
We were so excited. We've never debuted that high. And this is Heath Williams on vocals. And he sung several songs for Benson. And we're just in love with his singing and him. He's just a wonderful guy. So everybody try to give that a listen. And listen for the Grascals' new record coming up.
Sure. Yeah. I heard about that earlier today. I mean,
Yeah.
Man, there's all kinds of good stuff getting ready to happen,
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, Kristin, tell Wayne we said, hey, now I see he's kind of dodging me today. So,
Yeah. Like, where is he? He's here somewhere. Yeah.
All right. Rick Dollar here for the Rick Dollar Show, and I've been speaking with the one and only Kristin Scott Benson.
Thanks for hanging with us for this week's episode of the Rick Dollar Show podcast. Don't forget to visit all of our partners who make the show possible every week. Be sure to head over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts to leave us a review or a comment to win some cool merchandise from Hopeless Holler Trading Company. And now, here's some credits. See ya!
This has been the Rick Dollar Show podcast. The Rick Dollar Show podcast is produced by Radio Dog Productions. Theme music is written and performed by Jeremy Garrett at garrettgrass.com. The Rick Dollar Show podcast cannot be reproduced or rebroadcast without express written consent from Radio Dog Productions. I'm Kent Jones, and this has been a Radio Dog production.